What's up, Children's Church leadership team? Hey, thanks for letting me share a few things this evening. I hear you're talking about classroom management, which is always a topic that is necessary to create an environment of peace and shalom in your classroom, in whether it's a growth group, whether it's children's church, but also is probably one of the most difficult things for a teacher to really get. So I'm excited to share a few things. We've talked a lot in the past about haptics, about spacing, about keeping kids moving, about the need for visual and kinesthetic learning, that kind of a thing. We've talked and done a lot of things with regard to consequences and that kind of a thing. I want to give you 3 tools that I've used in the past that have been effective for me in classroom management that might be helpful. And I'm really wanting to germinate some more ideas, keep you creative and on your toes as you think about ways to pursue a classroom in which there is peace. So the first one that I've used in the past is it's just called agreement setting. So one thing that we've done in growth group is we've had 3 rules, right? We've had the respect rules: respect God, respect God's word, respect each other. And those are great rules to have. And every classroom when you're in school is going to have some kind of rules, but often those rules are set by the teacher. And so the kids have no ownership of it. So the teacher then becomes both the deliverer of the rule and the enforcer of the rule because there's no ownership from the kids. So the agreement setting process is designed to try to give kids the ownership of the expectations in the classroom. So the process of how we set agreements, and I did this at the very beginning of the semester, one year with my kids, and it seemed to work out really well. So the question I'm going to pose to my kids is this. I'm going to say, what do you need to feel safe and to do your best work or to do your most creative work? What do you need? What behaviors do you need in this classroom to feel safe and to do your best work? And then I'm going to take stuff from the kids. I may give them some quiet think time where they're going to write on a Post-it note different behaviors that they need in order to feel safe. I might give them some suggestions. I might say, you might need it to be quiet. You might need a snack. I probably won't give them too many suggestions because then they're just going to take my suggestions and use those. But I'm going to give them some time to think. Then I'm just going to, on a whiteboard, I'm going to just write those things up. So they may say, I need it to be quiet when I have quiet think time. I need to move in order to feel safe and do my best work. I need to have frequent trips to the bathroom. I need to have a snack. I need to have access to water. I need to have whatever it might be. I'm going to make a list. I'm not combing the list. I'm not taking anything off the list right now. All I'm doing is getting the list. I'm going to come up with a list of agreements that comes from the kids. It doesn't come from me. It comes from the kids. And they're often going to be things that, as a teacher, I want them to do anyway. But it's probably going to be even more detailed than what I would normally say. So they're going to have that list of look-fors. What are you looking for when you feel safe and do your best work? Then I'm going to go back. I'm going to clarify each one, make sure I understand what each of them means. If someone needs to add a word or whatever, I'm going to do that. If we need to group some together, I'm going to group them together. These are kind of the same concept or same idea. But I'm going to do that with the permission of the kid. Do you mind if I group these 2 together? I'm going to make sure they understand that so that they're on the same page. Then I'm going to walk through that list. And after you've explained what each of them means and all the kids understand that, my goal then is simply to vote. And I'm looking for 100% agreement on all of the rules. We don't have to agree on all of them. If we don't agree on them, then we're not going to keep it as a classroom rule because not all the classroom is agreeing to keep that. They're not taking ownership of that. So I'm going to go through each one. They might say, I need it to be quiet during quiet think time. Does everybody agree on that? I'm going to get a thumbs up. If I say any thumbs down or no vote, then that means it's not unanimous and we got to scratch that rule off because not everybody's bought into that rule. Then I'm going to go to the next rule. The next rule may be I need to be able to move at some point during the time. I'm going to keep that. It may be that I need to have a snack nearby. Whatever the agreements are, whatever I get 100% on it, that's going to be my list. I'm going to take that list, I'm going to put it on a poster, and then I'm going to have that poster up every week so that kids know this is what we have agreed to. And maybe once a month and once every couple months, I'm going to come back to that list and say, hey, here's what you guys said was your list. We have some new kids in here. Anything you would add about what you need to do your best work and what you need to feel safe. And I'm going to modify that list. So that's agreement setting. That's the first one. The second thing I would say is it really helps. One thing Morgan and I found at Brock Creek when we did an after school program was it really helped to have a posted schedule. Now you may already have this, but to have specific, it may not have to have times with it, but it'll have the list of what we're going to accomplish today, and it's posted for the kids. And as we finish each activity, I'm going to go and I'm going to give a check mark next to each one so that kids see, okay, we've only got 3 more things to do, or I really want to get to the bottom thing. So we need to get through these top 3 things in order to get to that one. And so that's going to help kids to keep a pace. So having a posted schedule is the second thing I would do for classroom management to keep things moving. The last thing I would say for today is keep in mind what Howard Gardner calls multiple intelligences. You can Google this. There's lists of 7, list of 8, list of 9, but I think his original list had 8 items on it. And this is remembering that every kid is different, and it is recalling that because every kid is different, they all learn in different ways. So some kids are going to be verbal linguistic kids. They need words to process. Some kids are going to be logical mathematical kids. They need numbers and charts and graphs to process. Some are going to be visual spatial. They need to be able to see it visually. Some are going to be bodily kinesthetic. They need to move to be able to get it. I had one kid one year, tried to teach him the word perseverance. He did not get it. I tried to give him a definition. Here's what perseverance means. He could not tell me what it meant. I took him outside. I said, go touch the wall. He tried to touch the wall. I blocked him from touching the wall. He kept trying to touch the wall. I blocked him. I kept blocking him. And finally, I let him break through, and he got there. I said, you know what you just did? You persevered. And he goes, that's what perseverance means. Some kids need to be able to move, to be able to get a concept. Some kids need musical kids. Some are interpersonal kids. They need to be able to talk to somebody, or interpersonal. They need to be able to talk to somebody in order to process. So I'm going to say, turn to your neighbor and tell them one thing that you learned from this story today. Instead of saying, okay, kids, what'd you learn as a whole group? I'm going to have them turn to one neighbor and say, give me one thing you learned. Because some kids need to be able to talk to one person to be able to learn it. Some kids are intrapersonal. They need to be able to process on their own. I may have a corner of the room that is my safe, quiet spot where if you need to go process by yourself, you can just go to the corner. Or you may have everybody take some time while I'm playing some Paul Cardall or some classical music where they just get time to think on their own. Then some kids are going to be naturalists. They need to be able to be in nature or something dealing with the environment in order to be intelligent. I may say go find a crazy place in the classroom, which may be underneath the serving buffet, where they're going to go talk to a neighbor about what they learned. And they're not going to forget that because they're going to remember, oh yeah, that's the thing I talked to you about under the buffet table, because they need the environment to help them remember things, help them to get things. Those are 3 things: agreement setting, posting a schedule, remembering multiple intelligences. With multiple intelligences, I would recommend any activities that you do, try to hit 5 of them per session, just so that you're hitting all the kids with something that's really going to stick with them. Those are some ideas. Keep brainstorming, keep being creative. We love you. Thanks for your work. You guys are working really hard trying to love our kids, and we really appreciate it. Thanks.